So with COVID cases rising and some medical experts saying Canada is now in the second wave, certainly parts of it, will the government extend support for people and businesses until there's a vaccine, until we're out of the woods? Tens of thousands of businesses have already shut their doors since the pandemic started over 6 months ago. The unemployment rate is above 10%. Will the government extend, for example, the rental assistance program or revamp the wage subsidy to make it more accessible? Talk about that and lots more. We are now joined by Canada's Minister, not only of Small Business, but of International Trade, Mary Ng. Great to have you, and I hope you and your loved ones are doing well, Minister. Let's just start there with the second wave. The CERB ends next month. Will your government be extending some key programs to help Canadians out as this pandemic continues long past what I guess was first expected?
Our government has been clear. We have always said that we would continue to work with businesses and with Canadians as they navigate and manage through COVID-19. It is alarming to see the cases climb, but we've always said that this is something that Canadians can, in fact, do something about. We've seen that done over the past many months. Businesses have sacrificed. Canadians have sacrificed, and we're going to keep working with businesses and with Canadians to make sure that we get through COVID-19. This is the top priority, managing and beating this virus and helping Canadians through it is what we need to keep doing.
So let's get down to brass tacks. The Canadian Emergency Commercial Rent Assistance Program ends September. It's been extended. You guys said you won't extend it anymore. So I know it's not federal jurisdiction, but you've been a key part of it. You initially allocated close to $2.5 billion. The province is just over $500 million. There was not even $1 billion of take-up. Not even a third of it had take-up. Will it be extended and will it be redesigned so more businesses actually use it?
Well, what I can say about this is we've absolutely been listening to businesses and understanding this very important fixed cost. We know that for so many businesses, their revenues are not back 100%. And this fixed cost, like rent, is 100%, which they are paying. So while the current program, the extension is, the final extension is September, we absolutely are working with businesses, with our provincial and territorial colleagues, and to businesses. We will continue to support you through COVID-19, and that work continues.
Okay, so just so I understand, because there's a sunset clause in a lot of these programs for support. Are you saying now, given the new data, the new second wave, the new number of cases, your government is going to rescind some of those sunset clauses, these, quote, this is the final extension, you could re-examine it and maybe extend these fundamental programs further?
We've always been clear that we were going to continue to work with businesses. So there really isn't a rescinding. It really is a how do we keep working with businesses to make sure that you are supported. We have, you've seen us evolve our programs and our supports in keeping with the changing situation that is COVID. The wage subsidy, for example, will run until the end of the year. And our lending supports for the small business loan has been extended for a couple of more months. So this is just work that we're just going to have to continue to do because managing, bridging through COVID-19, keeping Canadians healthy and safe is absolutely our top priority.
Okay, so these third and final extensions, clearly you're saying that there could be more on that. But because you're also the Minister of International Trade, and you were the point person on the aluminum tariffs, the Trump government backed off slapping that 10% tariff on Canada's aluminum industry, which was a ridiculous tariff anyway, as your government kept saying. But they did it hours before you were set to announce retaliatory tariffs. Look, if the threat of retaliation worked against the United States and Donald Trump, will you use that threat against countries like China? They have slapped limits on, for example, canola and soybeans. Largely, that's been seen as a retaliation against Canada's holding the Huawei executive Meng Wanzhou on extradition charges. So if it's good for the U.S., will you start slapping retaliatory tariffs on China?
I think that Canadian businesses and industries and sectors should know from me and our government that we will always stand up for them, always work to make sure that their incredibly safe and high quality products are able to continue to do business. I mean, our relationship with China is a multifaceted one. The top priority for us, of course, has to continue to be the release of Michael Spavor and Michael Kovrig, as well as clemency for Canadians. We're going to keep doing the work vigilantly for Canadian businesses, and in my own meetings with our farmers, our producers, they know that the government of Canada will continue to work with them to make sure that they continue to get access to those very important markets.
Minister, your government has long promised for 4 or 5 years that you wanted a free trade deal with China. Now the foreign minister has told the Globe and Mail that's off the table. Why? Why have you guys taken that off the table?
Well, we've been public about this. I know that not everyone sort of spends the time watching me in question period, but a number of just, you know, in the last session, I was really clear that the conditions for a free trade agreement with China is not there. So this is not new. We continue to work very hard on a top priority for Canada, and that is on the release of Michael Spavor and Michael Kovrig, as well as clemency for the Canadians. But at the same time, I am the international trade minister. My job is to make sure that our Canadian businesses continue to have access to markets and to support their work no matter where they operate.
But let me just
marketplace.
Are you saying that you will not talk about a free trade deal with China until the 2 Michaels are released?
I'm saying that right now, the conditions, we've been saying this publicly, that the conditions aren't there right now for a free trade agreement. But I will continue to work with our producers and our businesses to make sure that they continue to have access to markets, including in China, and to support their important work.
But clearly, look, it might be human rights issues with the Uyghurs and the detentions. It might be what's happened in Hong Kong. It might be the fact that you got the 2 Michaels in prison. And so if human rights are one of the, quote, conditions that stop the free trade with China, why is Canada still doing record exports to Saudi Arabia? Almost $3 billion in light armored vehicles last year alone, record-breaking exports. Amnesty, Human Rights Watch have all chronicled deep human rights abuses there. We all know about the murder of the American journalist, Mr. Khashoggi. How does your government justify trade for light armored vehicles that are allegedly being used in the conflict in Yemen right now? Why are we still exporting to Saudi Arabia? Is that going to change?
Well, the situation in Yemen is one of deep concern for our government, and we believe that a political solution is necessary to end that conflict. I would also I want to assure Canadians, Canada has acceded to the arms treaty. We have one of the strictest export regimes, and our export approvals process is being done on a case-by-case basis. And in that, enshrined in that, is a consideration for human rights.
But Minister, respectfully, are you saying that you can justify through your export regime selling light armored vehicles that almost every human rights group is saying are being used in the conflict of Yemen to the government of Saudi Arabia after the murder of Jamal Khashoggi? You're saying you're comfortable with Canada as the quote, Canada is back. You're comfortable with increasing our military exports to Saudi Arabia as the international trade minister?
Well, I'm saying that we are deeply concerned about the situation in Yemen. I'm also saying that Canada, has a strong and one of the strongest and rigorous systems for exports, and that our export permits are reviewed on a case-by-case basis, and that human rights is absolutely a part of that. And
is it ironic, though, but just to be fair, is it ironic, with all that being said, that we're increasing military exports to Saudi Arabia? So I guess you're okay with that.
I'm saying that that we will continue to be vigilant in our exports regime, and it is also why Canada has acceded to the Arms Trade Treaty, and human rights is at the center of that obligation.
All right, I got to leave it there. International Trade Minister and Minister of Small Business, Mary Yang, always a pleasure to have you on the program. Appreciate it very much.
Thanks so much, Evan. Good to talk to you.